welcome back to my channel. It is finally here, Tuesday, November 8th, the release day for The Order of Omega. And here she is in hardcover and in paperback. Ooh. We're gonna pop some celebratory something. Oh my god. That's gonna be fun to clean up. The journey in writing this book was very different from writing the first book in the series, The Alpha Drive, but it was still just as enjoyable to write. I love seeing my characters develop and grow, and the goal for this particular book was to make sure that it was a standalone story and that it was not a bridge book, since it is the second book in the trilogy. And based on the feedback from my beta and ARC readers, it did just that. It stood on its own by itself, so I achieved my goal and that makes me really happy. If you haven't already, you can order both the Alpha Drive, which is book 1 in the trilogy, and The Order of Omega, which is the sequel, on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, The Book Depository, and Books A Million. You can also order signed copies of both of these books. If that's something you're interested in, then check out the description box below. You'll find a link that will take you to the form to order signed copies. In honor of the second book in my series coming out today, I thought that a video topic on how to write a book series would be wildly appropriate. So that is what we are going to talk about today. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a bunch of ideas bouncing around in your head, where you know exactly how each book in your series is going to begin and end, then hats off to you. You are much further ahead than most writers. But what about those of us who want to write a series but really don't know where to start? Fear not, my friends. Here are 7 tips to help you get started in writing your book series. Number 1 should come as no surprise. Brainstorm. I know I say this in a lot of my videos, but training yourself to brainstorm and eventually become an idea machine is pretty darn important as a writer. In order to write fresh and original stories, we constantly have to be brainstorming our next big ideas. I prefer taking an oversized sheet of paper, writing the theme of my story, the genre, and my target audience in the center. From there, I'll brainstorm and write down any scenes or ideas that come to me for that book or that series, no matter how silly or unrelated or bad the ideas may seem at that moment. The great thing about brainstorming is that all ideas matter. Get them down on paper. This is how I mapped out my new dark fantasy series, and it did take me 3 hours because I had to sift through all of the ideas that I had come up with. But you know what? I now have an idea for each book in that series, so it was well worth it. Number 2, choose a story concept that can stretch across multiple books. If you're having a hard time brainstorming things that can happen beyond just one book, then most likely that main idea or plot you had in mind unfortunately isn't broad enough. The idea may be too limited where it can't be applied to multiple books. Try pulling back on some of the restrictions for that original idea, whether it's in the world itself, the character's goals, or even the overarching theme of the story. If you can make it broader, then you'll find that there's a lot more wiggle room to be able to write multiple stories and create a series. Number 3, outline the main ideas for each book before you start writing the first draft. All you pantsers are going to hate this, but writing a series demands that you outline ahead of time. There really is no way around this one. Crafting multiple stories that are going to be interconnected and woven together takes diligent planning. You'll have to drop hints and clues and foreshadow in each one of the books in order to make the series tie together. If you don't plan ahead and make an outline for each book, it's likely that you'll have loose ends, forget about one of your subplots, and leave your readers feeling frustrated and unsatisfied. I'll say it again. Writing a series demands that you outline ahead of time. Number 4, consider the passage of time. By this I mean it's important that your characters age appropriately throughout your book, and that your target audience will still continue to be interested as the series goes on. If you're starting your characters off at age 21 and you plan on writing 10 books where you release 1 a year, then by the end of your series, your characters will be 31 years old. Normally, fans that have been with you and your writing since the beginning will stick with you through the end of the series. But it's still critical that your characters and your writing grow and develop in this timeline in order to keep your audience's attention and ensure that it's still realistic. Number 5, each book should stand on its own. This might be a personal preference, but if there's one thing I hate more than anything, it's reading a series where half of the books are bridge books. Bridge books are those that cannot stand alone. The stories in bridge books are merely a bridge to get you from the prior book to the next book in the series. It drives me absolutely insane, and I have a feeling that I'm not the only one. When writing a series, you need to make sure that each book has its own plots and subplots. Continue to foreshadow and drop hints and clues to your readers so that you can lead them through the end of the series. But make it so that each time your reader finishes each one of the books, they feel satisfied. Like they just read a story that came full circle and not one that droned on and on and on with little to no point. Number 6, foreshadowing is your friend. I know that I just kind of talked about this in number 5, but foreshadowing is uber important when you're writing a series. In order to have all of the books tied together, you have to cleverly place hints and clues throughout each one of the books. And then you have to reveal why you placed those clues and hints where you did, and you have to make sure that it leads up to the big reveal. I'm actually thinking about doing a whole video on foreshadowing and how to do it effectively, so if that's something you guys are interested in seeing, then like this video or drop a line down below and let me know. And the final tip, number 7, you're allowed to change your mind. Just because you've outlined each of the books in your series doesn't necessarily mean that you have to stick with those ideas. You're undoubtedly going to grow as a writer as you continue to write that series, so ideas that you had 4 years ago may not really be feasible or even plausible for the direction the story is going in now or the direction that you want it to go in. So you may be thinking, then what's the point of outlining? The point of outlining is to make sure that you have enough ideas and that your ideas are broad enough so that you can actually write a series and it'll be a good series. But if an idea doesn't fit anymore, or a character needs to die, or you need to introduce a new character into the story, you can do that. Don't think that the outline that you originally made is set in stone, because it's not. You're allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to change your story. And actually, if you don't have some changes along the way when you're writing a series, then that actually might be more troublesome. So there you have it, 7 tips to help you write a book series. That's all that I have for you guys today. If you like the content, please thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. My debut novel, The Alpha Drive, and the sequel, The Order of Omega, are available for purchase on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, The Book Depository, and Books A Million. Wow, it feels so weird and so good to say that. I'm also offering signed copies of both books. You can find all the links in the description box below. Recently, I've teamed up with Audible, the premier provider of digital audiobooks with over 180,000 titles to choose from, to give you guys some free stuff. If you go to audibletrial.com/KristenMartinBooks, then you can get a free audiobook download as well as a free 30-day trial for their service. Unfortunately, my books are not yet available in audiobook format yet, but that is something I'm working on for the future. I'm also offering first chapter critiques for $65 a pop. If this is something you are interested in, then head on over to my website at KristenMartinBooks.com and click on the first chapter critique tab to get more information. If you are participating in NaNoWriMo this year, then I just want to say good luck, and I would love to have you as a writing buddy. I will leave the link down in the description box below if you want to add me as a buddy on Nano. If you're not already following me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, make sure you do that for daily writing inspiration advice as well as updates and announcements regarding giveaways. I do want to let you guys know that I have a P.O. box because I'm super old-fashioned and I love reading snail mail. I would love to hear from you, whether it's character fan art, a book you think I might enjoy, or just a letter saying hi. You can write me at P.O. Box 1879, Montgomery, Texas 77356. I will leave the address in the description box below. If you have any questions or anything you'd like for me to talk about in one of my next videos, feel free to tweet at me at @authorKristenM, or you can leave a comment down below. You can also ask a question or post a comment anonymously on my Ask Me Anything page on Tumblr. Again, all the links are down below. Thank you so much again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to win bookish goodies every month. I post new videos on Tuesdays. I will see you guys next time. Bye! My debut novel, The Alpha Drive, and the sequel, The Order of Omega, are available for... They're not available for pre-order. What am I talking about?